there is this kind of strong rumor going around that the Knights of Ren are going to have, the Knights of Ken really, are going to have something really big to do with this episode 9. They may end up being like the main villains of this, and there's a reason for it. There's been alluded to in the Aftermath series. Palpatine also spoke about it. And so this idea of something beyond what we have here, beyond in the world of Star Wars, out there, huh?
The Outer Rim?
Yeah, the Outer, but even beyond there.
The unknown regions.
In the dark, unknown regions. And they think Palpatine wanted to find out where the source of his dark powers came from, and he sent people out to go look and invest. And it may be that Kylo did that with the Knights of Ren, sent them out into something they call the Beyond, and they're going to come back. And when they come back, they're going to bring an even more evil presence back. That'll be the villain of 9, and it'll be Rey and Kylo coming together to fight this thing. And so this is madness on all kinds of levels.
What are you doing over there, Emperor?
Oh, you done? All right. I just didn't want to hear.
There's nothing. It's just what ifs.
Yeah, speculation.
Yeah, no, I heard it. Obviously, I heard it.
Yeah.
Well, the Aftermath stuff, so that's the Acolytes of Beyond.
Yes.
Which are fascinating. It's one of my favorite things in the Aftermath trilogy. I love a lot of what Wendig brought into it there, and it was fascinating. And Yugtashu and Palpatine's contingency plan, Galactus Rex, Rey Sloane, what's up with Condon Sith Witch. I love all that stuff. So if it ties in. Now, I've said here before, and I think I got a little guff, not from you guys, but from, I don't necessarily care about the Knights of Ren. I didn't miss them from 8, but I'm definitely intrigued. I'm intrigued by any of that kind of stuff that's tied together. And Palpatine, the unknown regions, what was out there, little bit of answers in the Thrawn books about some of the stuff he was feeling out there. So, you know, they look cool, and part of Star Wars is things looking cool.
I would love this, and I think it's necessary. I got to tell you, because I think it's, for me, I do care about it, because if they leave it alone, it's just yet another thing that was set up in 7, not talked about in 8, and then just disappears, and they didn't do anything with it. Like, what did that scene mean with Rey when she was there with the Knights of Ren? Like, what does it mean? Like, who are all those bodies on the floor? Was that from the Purge? Because we saw in the flashback that Ben wasn't in that gear yet. So that might not have been from that. Like, what did all that mean? Are we going to find out? And the Knights of Ren, if that is the case, I think that makes sense that if that's where they were, because it has been said that Snoke had way more than just one apprentice. It also, I'm convinced I don't want it to happen at all, but I'm convinced that Kylo Ren is going to be redeemed at the end of this trilogy, and I think that what better way to do it than to have another big bad guy that he's got to go up against, and not just whether it's Snoke returning or Palpatine coming back. Not one of those. Like, Dominic Monaghan might be one of these people. Dominic Monaghan might be one of the Knights of Ren. They have all these people
Matt Smith is in there too. Yeah.
Matt Smith could also be a Knight of Ren, and I would like this idea very much. The other thing is Richard Harris. Not Richard. I always say Richard Harris every single time. Richard Grant. Yes, is. Maybe he's that guy that they came back and get. I don't think he'll be Thrawn, but what the hell? Maybe they go out and get somebody who's powerful from the outer regions and happens to be him. Whatever it might be, there are possibilities, and I think you need another villain. I don't think just Kylo anymore works, and Snoke's cut in half. You need something, and Knights of Ren coming back, and he's back. We know that Kylo is super. He's off the deep end at this point. So why isn't he running with his boys? And if he's running with these guys, and they're causing, like, he is the emperor or the supreme leader right now, and he's running with these guys. Imagine that opening scene is just the Knights of Ren tearing people down. It'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Christian. I don't want him to be redeemed. I'm so tired of people talking about getting Kylo redeemed. No, hell no, a double no. There was redemption for him. It was in that throne room scene. The second he made that decision to not go with her, that's the end of that. He is the villain. This is interesting to me, though, and it's very dangerous. Now, I wonder if JJ can pull this off. If you do go into the Beyond and bring back another even more, evil villain or powerful villain, will you have enough time in the movie to build up this power of this villain and the look of this villain, the feeling of this villain, to make it, to make the Star Wars fans feel it as they're watching it, that this was, an incredible thing they overcame? Remember, the Emperor had 3 films to build himself up until he finally went into action against everything. And I think it would be interesting if they did this from the beginning in the way they
push back there a little bit.
Okay.
I'll push back there. I'll push back because The Emperor's just mentioned in episode 4. Mentioned.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But they mentioned him.
They were building it for 3 films until he shows up at the end.
4 really, it was just kind of like, oh, the Emperor's there. So you know that he's there.
But you have Vader.
You have Vader, but and Tarkin. Right. But so you have these big bads, and Tarkin dies off. You still have Vader, and then Vader's really the main villain in Empire. But he has a conversation with the Emperor in the throne room. Right. So that's when you start to. You're not wrong where they're peppering him in, and he's a little. It's a little bit more effective once he shows up. Right. But it's really Return of the Jedi to where he makes his stance. Now this is excluding the prequels, obviously, because the prequels, I would say he's got the strongest character work out of anybody. Right. But this is something they still can do in the amount of time. Let's say it's a 2-hour and 30-minute movie. If they do something very similar to what they did episode 4, set up a sentence or two, then bring them in. I just thought that the way Snoke went from being mysterious to they just threw him in there, and they potentially ruined it. But it depends on how it all ties up in this one.